In 1862, Karl Marx, living in London and working on Das Kapital, and Friedrich Engels, living in Manchester and working for his family's business in textiles, exchanged letters about the Civil War in the United States. Understanding the significance of slavery, both to the history of the country and the conflict, a fact that was being diminished in importance by the British press, the writers contemplated the course of the war. 2 years before it happened, Engels predicted Sherman's March, a military campaign that practiced a scorched earth policy and destroyed much of the infrastructure in the South. It began in the Northwest and ended by capturing the city of Savannah, Georgia, near the sea. William Tecumseh Sherman, whose father named him after the chief of the Shawnees, was a general in the Civil War that negotiated the surrender of the Confederacy in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia in April of 1865. In 1890, naturalists designated the giant forest as part of the Sequoia National Park in California. Almost reaching 275 feet tall and being over 2,300 years old, the sequoia tree named General Sherman is the biggest tree in the world. I visited this tree in June of 2017. Several years ago, I was driving an Uber for 2 passengers on the highway for a carpool ride. For some reason, I decided to ask the riders, who did not know each other, "Do you ever feel like a spider?" They said that they did not, and asked me if I ever felt like one. I said, "No, but I was watching a documentary online the other day about spiders. I could only get through half of it because it was too much." And I shivered. The riders laughed. That day, I decided to say whatever was on my mind. "What do you guys think of Standing Rock?" The passengers, 2 men, were not sure. "Does it ever remind you of Birmingham?" "No, why would it?" "The police dogs and the fire hoses." Luckily, at the end of the day, one of my passengers ended up giving me a tip for the history lesson. The Standing Rock campaign, which occurred from April 2016 to February 2017, was a historic moment in the movement to build a better environment and reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. Also known as the Dakota Access Pipeline protests, and using the hashtag #NoDAPL, Native Americans and supporters used nonviolent methods to protest the building of an oil pipeline from North Dakota to Illinois and running under the Missouri and Mississippi rivers and Lake Oahe. By December of 2016, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, under the administration of Barack Obama, rejected an application for an easement due to the movement, which had gone viral on social media and received international attention. The oil industry and the government reacted to activists with mace, rubber bullets, tasers, and sound cannons, a disproportionate response.